Hi guys, welcome back. In the last episode, you saw me get the car up on the rotisserie. I've got that set up, so basically now it's just going to make it a lot easier to do these rust repairs. I'm going to start with where the spare wheel well goes. As you can see, that's all rotted out. The good thing is it's all solid, pretty much on the outside. So there's still, I don't have to cut the whole piece out completely. With this one here, basically what I'm going to do is do it probably in two pieces because I can't bend all this. I don't have the knowledge for that. So what I'm going to do is basically get this section here and get that to roll and leave a little bit of a lip here to bend up. And then I'll do this section here and then I can just join along there. So, I mean, it's not the outside of the car, so it doesn't have to be like, if you wanted to, you could just put a piece treat this, put a piece straight over the top of it if you wanted to, and do that. But you try to do the best you can. So I'm going to start off with some paper first because I can bend it easier. Then I'll get it to cardboard, and then I'll go from there. So basically, what I'm looking to do. So I've roughly marked that up where that seam is, where the two pieces join, and I've left a little bit here that I can, on the bench or whatever, I can just bend that over a bit. Like I said, I can't do all of this in one piece. So that's pretty much what I'm going to start off with. So I'm going to cut this out and get it to fit a bit tighter. Then I'll probably make it to cardboard. It's a little bit easier with paper just to get your lines and all that than the cardboard. So I'm going to get this cut out and then we'll keep going from there. So guys, I just put my template back up again. I didn't have to do it out of cardboard, the paper was fine. So I bent that roughly to where it needs to be. So that would actually fit on there like that. Now, as I said, I left a little bit higher here. I actually left an extra 15 mil above what the paper is. So what I'm actually going to decide to do is, because I can't curve here and that way, I've just done it on the paper. I just cut a couple of notches in here. And what I can do is just get that to bend like that, and then like that, and then just trim it all off as I'm going along. That's the easiest way I found to do it. So I can get it to bend, and I can just use my hammer on that. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit so I can get some clean welds. Pretty much just started along here. So I'll clean this up, get that in, and then even this, once this is on, like that way, like that, I can actually just run the grinder down here and just bend it over slowly all the way along. So that's the plan. So let's see if it works. So guys, basically just cleaned up where I'm going to weld. So what the plan is that will fit in there nicely. If I get it the right way, it will. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to tack it here to start. I'm actually just going to follow that seam there on this side. And here I'll just cut and weld as the back piece falls out. So I'll just do a butt weld all along there, and the same on the other side, get that in place, and then after that I'll start cutting here and folding it over. So that's the plan anyway. Let's see if it works. So, wherever it's touching and it's flush, That's where I'm just going to tack weld. Then after that, I'll run the grinder through and then meet the two together. So got that to hold there. I'll find another spot over here where I can touch it nicely. So what I'll do next is basically I'll grab my grinder now and I'll start cutting the slot through here, which will cut the back piece out, and just keep moving along slowly, getting that just tacked into place for now. I just want it strong enough that when I start bending it, it's not going to pop off on me. So, but I don't want to weld it all the way around in one shot. So. So basically what I've done now is I've cut through the back piece, but it's still all in place, so I can still keep it. And this is basically just moved in slightly now. So basically just keep tacking along here and the back piece will fall away later on. So as you can see, I've got a nice gap there. I've got about a 2mm gap. What I might do is just go on the inside, because sometimes this does happen. Because I've cut it, the two pieces could still be touching together. So when you go to weld, you're actually welding the old piece back again. So I might just grab a screwdriver from the back and just lift the back piece out slowly. So when I weld, I'm not welding the two back together again. So it does happen. I'm sure we've all got old screwdrivers and stuff. I make a lot of these things up. It's just a little screwdriver that I've just bent on an angle and just grounded the point down so it's nice and flat. You can see that. These come in real handy, these little gadget things. So it allows you to get in like that and bend it back straight away instead of trying to use a straight one. So I'm just going to bend that back piece out a bit so I can roll along out. So I've just moved the back part away about 5mm. That's more than enough. Just put a couple of tacks in for now. Now with here, I'm only going to be able to go so far because of this piece here still holding. It's not going to let me fold in yet. So I'm going to probably do maybe 2 more tacks here until I start cutting into here, and then it'll start folding itself in. So basically what I was doing there is this piece here where the seam is, where the 2 pieces would actually join. I'm just hitting that here. It just pushes it out slightly because I've been pushing it in. It just brings it out, and it almost, by doing that, it just lines up perfectly. So guys, just moved along, just cut through here now. I've got a nice gap there. So basically I'm going to start from here and then end up back down here. So, I know it's a bit hard to see, but you get the idea. So we got that there. I actually can't cut right through there at the moment because I've left it up to here where this piece is hanging. If I keep cutting straight up, by the time I fold this over, that line's going to move. So it doesn't matter if I've got to cut some more, but I don't want to put a spacer in. So I'm actually just going to stop here. I can always go through later on. I'm going to do the other side there. Now all this is tacked in, so it's not going to move. I'll do the other side the same as this. Stop here. Then I'll work out where I'm going to do my cuts, because even if I do cut it, I'll just show you on the paper. So that goes like that, and that's hanging up. So if I do cut it, that's going to bend like that, but this one will bend and it's going to go over it. So this part here is going to have to be cut anyway. It'll meet up to here, but because you're bending it, there's more material on this side that's going to go that way, and material here that's going to go that way. So that will be cleaned up once that goes on that way. Basically is you tackle along here, and then you run your grinder, do a cut line, and then just join that piece together. So at the moment I'm not too fussed. This will start to roll in on its own. At the moment it's sticking out quite a bit, but it's touching up to here all the way down. That's perfect. But like I said, once I do the notches here, that's going to fold that way, that's going to fold that way. So I don't know where this will finish yet. So anyway, I'll do the other side and then we'll come back and deal with that anyway. So guys, got this side in now. Now it's going to try to fold this. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think I'll probably start in the middle and work my way out that way. So I'll do a couple of cuts here and then slowly bend that in and go from there. Okay, so just made a couple of cuts. Now, like I said, what's going to happen is when I start to bend this, these are going to overlap on me, which I'm not worried about. All I want to do is try to get the shape the easiest way possible. So just going to start what I might do is just add a bit of heat to it, just to get it to fold a bit better. I'm not worried if I get a line here. I really don't give a shit about that. Just want to seal it. So I might just get the torch and put a bit of heat on this just to get it to fold a bit easier. Okay, that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is push this back and tack it onto this for now, and then get it all in. Once I've got that tacked, then I can cut off my excess, these things, and then I can get the other piece to fall in and then butt joint it across that. The reason I'm leaving this part in, it's actually helping me to get this shape that I need. So I might as well use it before I have to cut it out. So I'm going to heat this one up, get that to bend and move along. Starting to get that little bit of a curve that was there, in the original piece. So should have done it, well, stuffed up on that one, but that one's turned up. And that's what I mean. See how it overlaps here? You got a step now. So basically what I'll do is, if I try to tack that, it's like going to be sitting like that on an angle. So I'll just run the grinder through here. So I've got my gap, and then get it to fold in a bit better. So here you can still see the light through it, and then over here it overlaps by, I don't know, about maybe 4 mil, something like that. So if you can see that now, this one's still a bit high, but I've got a nice 2 mil gap in here. So before it gets cold, okay, so what I'll do is get this down and I'll tack that to this one, and then all I've got to do is just weld down there. So, got that folded over, got these two to meet, tack that to this piece, starting to come along. So guys, you can see how it's coming along. It's coming along real nice. Like I said, I'm starting to get a bit of a curve here. I'm not too fussed about it. It's a wheel, well, you know what I mean. You just want it sealed up. So I'll keep going along this way and this way, get that closed up there, and then after that, we just got to do a piece here. Which this piece here, most of it's going to be pretty much flat, so it's not really going to be a big deal. Because I've allowed this to come up, and by the time this piece here, and by the time this piece here comes across, this piece is going to be pretty much flat. It might just have a bit of a curve that way. So anyway, I'll finish this off and then we'll come back. So guys, I got this part welded in. You can see where I've just ran over while I was tacking here, I just welded a little bit there and kept going. And just ran that over. I'm not going to go much more than that. I don't care if you can see a bit of the weld. It's the underbody. I prefer to do that than to grind it completely flat and then end up with holes. So I've just made this piece up here with sticky tape. That's the piece I've got to cut for the top here. These ones here, I left them long enough that they've covered the rust in here, so it worked out fine. So instead of tracing it out on paper if it's a funny shape, just put some masking tape down and trace around where you need to do and take it off. And then put it down on your steel and there's your shape. So guys, that's basically my shape there. Just like that. I like using the texture because what I'll do now is I'll cut on the outside of the line. Therefore, if I'm a mil or two short, it's easier to grind than to add that much. So that's done there. So I'll get that cut out and then we'll get back to that. So guys, that's a piece I just made up. I've just put a little kink in here because it just rolls. So basically that's going to fit in there like that. Now, because I've spot welded up along here, I haven't got it like a straight edge. So what I'm going to do is bring that down and just let it come past this piece here. Because then what I can do after is I can just run the grinder straight through, cut through this, and then I've got my weld line. So I'm just going to throw another tack here. Okay, so now what I'll do now is I'll use the grinder and cut through here, get these two to meet, and then I can start welding. So guys, it's tacked here and tacked here like you saw. Just ran the grinder down through here. I use this as my cutting line and just cut that all along there, cut through this piece and the back piece. And now I can just bend this down and tack this in here and work my way back out. So we're getting that tacked in. So that's starting to close up now. I've got enough here. I can cut through there and cut through there because it's actually holding up on the other piece now. So I'll finish cutting this off and that off. To get that corner in. So as you can see, it's starting to come together now. Pretty much on the home stretch now. So now I'll cut through the back here and get it to fold in. So guys, just finishing off the top here. This piece was overhanging, as you saw before. I've cut that now, and now I'm meeting these two together. This is bent around really nicely on me. These are still overlapping, so I'll cut across there later. But at the moment, I'm just leaving it there. So I'm just going to finish off along here, and then pretty much just fill up where I've missed, and then give it a grind, and we're pretty much done. So I'll keep going with this. So guys, just finished it all off, gave it a light grind. What I've done now is I've got a light in the back there, just shining through. I've got about maybe eight tiny pinholes. I've got the light in the back. I've just marked where the texture is, and I'm just spot welding just to fill them up. You're always going to get pinholes, so I'm going to get that done. And leave the light in the back so you can actually see it. Just put your hand over it. So there we go. Got that done. I'll grind them down and we're pretty much done. So guys, just finish it off with another grounding. They're the two pieces that fell out the back. Basically now, I'm not going to do any filler or anything like that. The biggest mistake people do is they do filler now. And the problem with that is this is bare metal, so there's still surface rust and all that in there. Basically what I'm going to do is just going to keep welding away until I've got it all done. Then when I clean the bottom of the car, then I'll hit it with epoxy, and then after that I'm going to run some seam seal across here and across there and on the inside, because that's pretty much what was done from the factory. So it lasted 45 plus years like that, so it's going to outlive me. So basically that's it. So that's done now. I'll probably just go over it lightly again just when I'm ready to paint. But until then, that's all sealed up. The rust is gone. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Keep an eye out for the next one. Cheers.